Right. Welcome back to another episode of my movie review series, episode 269. Now, last week I said that I was going to do a Schwarzenegger film, a 90s Schwarzenegger film, but I didn't give no further hint on what it was. Well, obviously, you see the thumbnail, you should know what it is. Yeah. Last Action Hero! 1993. Yeah, man. Yeah. I promised a person that I was going to do a Schwarzenegger film, and, well, you know, here's my more in-depth review on Last Action Hero. Yeah. So, yeah, this movie, yeah. Where can I start with this movie? I mean, Last Action Hero, back in 93, you had, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You had F. Murray Abraham, Art Carney, Charles Dance, Frank McRae, Tom Noonan, Robert yeah, Prosy, yeah, Robert Prosy, um, Anthony Quinn, Mercedes Ruel, and Mercedes Ruel, Mercedes Ruel. Yeah, I know that name. Yeah. And Austin O'Brien. The annoying ass kid in this whole movie. I tell you, yeah, he was annoying, but yeah, still, this movie was fun. It was fun to watch. You know what I mean? It was fun. It's fun then. It's still fun now. I mean, you what would you would done if you had the magic to enter the movie that you were watching? I mean, hell, hell, if you was that kid, if you was this kid, Danny, Danny Manigan, what's his last name? Danny Madigan. If you was like this kid, I mean, yeah, you'll throw out spoilers left and right. You know, alternate the course of the movie forever. I mean, yeah, but yeah, this movie, yeah, it was a kind of sort of meta. It was it was you know, it's definitely a fantasy. I mean, you going through yeah, you got this magic ticket, and you transfer yourself from reality to the world of the movie that you're watching, and then the next thing you know, yeah, you you go through one hell of an adventure with the star of the movie, and in a way, yeah, this is where it gets confusing. I mean, he talks to Jack Slater as Jack Slater, but then he would like talk to him as if he's talking to Arnold also. I mean, when Slater says, yeah, that he'll be back, yeah, you didn't think I'll say that, did you? Yeah, that's what you always say. I do. Everybody wake you to work it in. It's like your calling card. I mean, wait. So Jack Slater says I'll be back also, or is he referring to Arnold that always says I'll be back? That was the confusing part. I mean, we all know Slater has the catchphrase, his own catchphrase. Big mistake. That is his own catchphrase. So him throwing in "I'll be back" the way Arnold would throw it in, you know, they were pretty much confusing the two in my mind. But you know, anyway, yeah, that was the interesting part about this movie. This movie is interesting. Interesting action fantasy. You know, one huge adventure, and yeah, like I said before, it was fun back then. It was fun watching it back then, and it's still fun watching it now. Maybe it's the nostalgia part that is talking because, sometimes you will watch something that was real cool back then, and then, time progresses, and then, as you get older, it may not look very cool right now. Well, not in this case, in this movie, man. I tell you, yeah, this movie, yeah, all of the coolness is still here. I mean, hell, yeah, you got cameos from every single big major celebrity that was in the '90s at that. Every major '90s celebrity. I mean, hell, yeah, he had Sharon Stone as Catherine Trammell. You know, blink if you'll miss her. You know, Robert Patrick walked by just at the T1000. As a matter of fact, he was in character. He had the look on his face and everything. I mean, yeah, that was T1000 that walked by. Blink if you'll miss it. But yeah, you know, Danny DeVito is voicing an animated cat. You know, not the same animated cat that was dancing with Paula Abdul back in the '90s, but but it's this is just crazy all across the board. Crazy fun all across the board. This movie is crazy fun. You know, action sequences is still exaggeration, but high up there. Oh man, I mean, to have wait a minute, who's the gentleman that played Benedict? To have Charles Dance, um, uh, uh, Tywin Lannister himself, to have Charles Dance play a villain like Benedict, you know, and when he found out about the ticket, and then when he when he found out about the ticket, found out about the whole concept of the ticket, the whole secret, everything like that. When he found out, and he went through and he caught the villain from Slater 3, and he pretty much hired that villain as the assassin to kill Arnold Schwarzenegger at the premiere of Jack Slater 4. I mean, and then he give the monologue of revealing the entire plot because he's gonna kill Slater anyway. Yeah, he can get He can get Dracula. Yeah, he'll fetch him. He can get Dracula. Huh. He can get King Kong. Yeah, you gotta have a nightmare with Freddy Krueger. Have dinner with Adolf Hitler. Hannibal Lecter can do the catering. And then have a christening for Rosemary's Baby. I mean, yeah, man, I tell you, having that cat play Benedict and have Benedict carry out that whole entire plan, you know, because, in this world, the bad guys can win, Oh man, yeah, Benedict, yeah, he was definitely one of the most memorable villains, not just in any Arnold film, but one of the most memorable villains in, guess you could say, in film history, maybe, probably, definitely underrated character, because a lot of big villains out there. You can you can get sound off on any big villain out there. You can make a like a March Madness bracket on your favorite villain and see who would get at who. And most definitely, you should put Benedict right there in that list. You should put Benedict right there in that category, in that bracket. Yeah, because yeah, he is that's one badass dude. Yeah, definitely one of the best villains in any movie, period. But yeah, this movie though, yeah, Last Action Hero. I mean, what more could you say about it? Hell, the cat that directed Die Hard, you did this movie. The cat that wrote Lethal Weapon, he co-wrote this movie. And hell, speaking of Lethal Weapon, Michael Kamen does the score for it. So, you know, it's a big win for the big win for all. You know, big win for the audience right there. So yeah, man, Last Action Hero, most definitely, still, you know what? Maybe I would have said this movie would be a 4 out of 5 because Danny is so damn annoying. But once you really think about it, I mean, the awesomeness of this movie, the level of awesomeness of this movie, you can throw it up there. Not as one of Arnold's best. It is not one of Arnold's best. Not at all. I mean, hell, you know, it's not on the level of Total Recall and of course Terminator 2. Of course, all know that is Arnold's best. But he's not on that level. But still, this movie, yeah, you can give it a nice little 4.5 out of 5. It will not be a 5 out of 5, not at all. But yeah, it's still a real cool movie, a real cool 90s movie, a real cool 90s action movie. I mean, hell, it's a pretty interesting concept, a little bit confusing. Hey, you know what? Let me backtrack this thing, and go back to Lethal Weapon because not only that Michael Kamen did the score, but he put in the Lethal Weapon music. When the two cops got killed in the beginning of the movie, they got caught in the blast. The old black cop. You know, he let Jack know he had 3 more days before retirement. And they put in that was a little nod to Lethal Weapon 3, and they put in that score, that Lethal Weapon score. Oh man, that was so funny. Yeah, Lethal Weapon 3 came out around that time. So yeah, that was so funny. The way he just snuck that in there, man. Great stuff, though. Great stuff, man. But yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Man, this movie, can't really go wrong with it. Can't really go wrong with it. I mean, lots of exaggerative scenes, with the funeral scene, uh, oh my God, this man's not dead. He get the body out, he carry the body around, you know. Yeah, the mafia is pointing the gun, saying, "Don't shoot!" Throw the body off of him, but the body's hooked on the crane, and the crane carrying the body around. Yeah, this body is mixed with is laced with nerve gas because the dude was so fat. So yeah, he was so fat he had a flatulent problem, you know. Yeah, so he's gonna pass gas for one last time, and he's gonna take out the entire mob at that funeral. So yeah, Jack had to make sure that that couldn't happen. So next thing you know, yeah, the body dropped into the big tar pit, and yeah, once that bomb went off, you just saw a big ball of tar just bubble up, and yeah, it just deflated back down. Ooh, it's silent but deadly. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, like I said, exaggeration. Oh man, I almost forgot before I was about to leave, man. Yeah, here's where the confusing part come in. Bridget Wilson, her character, she plays Slater's daughter, but it's but in the movie it's not played by Bridget Wilson. Bridget Wilson plays a whole different character. She plays an actress named Meredith Caprice, who is playing Jack Slater's daughter, Whitney. But, since this movie, they tried to hit you with the whole meta thing, and they got a whole bunch of celebrity cameos, hell, they should have just had Bridget. They should have just said Bridget Wilson playing, Whitney Slater. I mean, like I said, interesting concept, but it just executed very confusingly. But anyway, yeah, yeah. Anyway, 4.5 out of 5. That's my review, Jack, and I'm sticking to it. But now, yeah, next week though. Next week, sticking with the whole summer blockbuster season that I got going on here. Next week, oh man. Speaking of summer blockbuster, oh man. Next week, I'm going back into the superhero field, and I'm going to cover one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. One of the greatest comic book movies of all time. And it's not even Marvel. So yeah, stick around for that, man. One of the greatest comic book movies of all time. Yeah. Why so serious? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait to talk about this one. Check out my shit right here. Subscribe to me right here. But in the meantime, in between time, Jack, this show is